Now, when
do
crime
you have
comes,
kids?
Yeah, I have kids.
When you see your kids crying, what do you tell them?
When my kids cry, okay, when I've canned them, I let them cry. I tell them to keep quiet, shut the fuck up.
So you tell them to shut the fuck up?
Yeah. Then you tell them, nyamaza, keep quiet.
Why don't you ask him why he is crying?
No, I've canned them.
So you
That's why
are
they're crying.
What?
Yeah, but if I find them crying, if I did not can them, if I just find them crying, I'll try to ask, why are you crying? Then she tell me, somebody has taken this from me, my sister has beaten me. Then I see how I handle it. But we are talking about men here, bro. Don't suppress emotional stress. Don't suppress that anger. The best way to handle it is to let it out. And how you let it out is by crying. Let nobody tell you that you're more a man when you don't cry. They're lying to you, bro. That's not the best way to handle it. When you suppress emotions, you suppress them, they build inside you. That's the truth.
But then
I want
you
to
are more of a woman.
I've experienced it.
Ceylon said you are more of a woman when you cry as a man. Are you not?
Oh, no. That's what you believe. I don't believe
so. Paul said that when I was a child, I spoke like a child, I understood like a child, I interacted as a child. But now that I'm a man, I have to put away childish things, and crying is a part of it. Because when a man cries, there's a price to pay. He doesn't just cry and then everything is going to be all right. There's a price to pay because he's going to be seen as weak. Look what happened to Kanye West. Look what happened to Tyrese. Look what happened to Will Smith. Yes, they got in touch with their emotions, but there was a huge price they paid, and we could never see their credibility anymore. Because biologically and by evolution, a man is supposed to be a shield that protects and it never cracks. But then by the moment that you crack, it means that you are emotionally overwhelmed, and therefore you can't hold it together. You become useless. You lose control. And in that way, you're not even able to adapt to the situation. Like what Andrew said, that being a man is about overcoming. And the biggest part of overcoming is that you have to be adaptable to every situation. Because if you cannot adapt, you're definitely going to die. So regardless of what situation comes your way, you need to be able to adapt as a man. And when you don't adapt, it means that now you become, if you can't adapt, you become to emotion. You resort to emotion. And once you become emotion, it means that you have lost control. Shouldn't you be a shield? Shouldn't you be strong? Shouldn't you protect? Shouldn't you lead? And what would crying do to you? How is it going to help?
Oh, okay. I think you okay. We were talking about crying on the aspect of death. You see, not crying as in general, crying like when you're stressed you start crying. No, that's stupid. We were talking of crying on the aspect of death. That's what we were talking about.
Even death, because being adaptable, it means that change is going to come. And you have to prepare for the change that you know. You also have to prepare for the change that you don't know. So even death in itself, you have to be adaptable to a point where you become unbreakable.
If I may ask, isn't crying part of the adaptation process? Crying, isn't it a part of the adaptation process? Because you're trying.
Crying is part of. It's part of you losing control. For women, it's adaptation. It's therapy for women. But at the end of the day, a man has to find solutions.
Do you know everyone has a breaking point, right? People have breaking points. As a man, there's somewhere you've reached to. As a man, you've reached to a certain corner that you feel like this is too much. I can't take this no more. It happens, right? Or has it never happened to you?
And then when that happens, how do we deem you? Are we not saying that you are weak when that happens?
Okay, that happens. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is, when that happens, you see, crying, you just sitting on your own and crying, letting that shit out, bro. It flows out of you. If you have not tried it, nobody will know. Nobody will know. When you lock yourself in a room, when you're somewhere private and you cry, then you lock the door and get out. Who will know that you cried? Nobody will know that you cried. And you'll have managed that emotional stress, bro, and you will think logically. Because trust me, when you suppress it because you're trying to be a man, you're trying to let the other people know that you're a man. You're just trying to feed the other people false information, which you are not. As a man, you should respond. And the best thing to do is to respond on the best manner that fits you to act accordingly. And crying does that. Suppressing it does not. Suppressing it kills
As
it.
a man,
It's
you
logic.
should just take it and at the end of the day find solutions, because if you spend 15 minutes crying, you have wasted 15.
I'm not saying you cry and then leave it at that. I say cry, let it out. Now, after you've let it out, you'll be okay. Now, after you cry, when you go out, now find solutions. That's what you should do. I'm not saying like
Lancelot.
crying is a solution. No.
Sir Lancelot,
Yes.
what can I say is that when a man become emotional, when
Yes.
a man start to cry, when
Yes.
a man show some sort of emotion, he
Yes.
become useless. And
No,
when
bro,
you become
that's wrong.
useless, you start
That's wrong.
losing. And when you become useless, you start losing. Now
No.
you are walking around as a loser,
No,
as
that's
somebody
wrong, bro.
who has lost almost everything. Because when you're crying, you are losing part of yourself.
No. Okay, I cried. You did not cry. What did I lose? I cried.
You just step up, bro, and take responsibility if you have to.
I told you, yes, I did that. I was told to man up, and
So
I
why
did. But what
should
did
you
what
cry?
happened? I fainted
So why should you go back and cry?
because that is the best way.
You already know what you have to do, all right?
Yes.
So why should you go back to cry?
Do you know that you can't control pain? You can't
You
control
can.
pain. You can only
You
try to
can.
manage it. You can't control. You can't, bro.
You can
You
handle
can't.
it. You can handle
Yeah,
it.
bro. Pain is hard. Pain is hard. And let me tell
You
you
can
something.
handle it.
I'll tell you that you men tend to lie a lot to themselves that I'm strong, I can't do this, I'm strong, I can't cry, I'm strong. Men, you're lying to yourselves, bro. Emotional responses are very, very important. They're your body. Your body is responding. Okay? Your body is responding. Now you have to respond. You have to listen. You have to listen to your body, bro. You have to listen to your body. You have to listen to your mind. It's an emotional response. It's triggered by emotions, by events. Now the best way to handle that emotional response is to cry if need be. After you've cried, then you go back to the drawing table. Now, this is the problem. This person has died, is not coming back. What next? Because when you suppress it, and that anger, those issues, something little, something very, very little will trigger you and you will burst. Something so little you wouldn't even believe it.
Listening to your emotions is like listening to your dick. They will both lead you astray. Yes, there's pain.
No, your dick is
pain is
sexual.
happening.
Emotions are not.
Pain is happening, but suffering is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
So when you cry, you choose to suffer, and once you suffer, you can't even think straight. Like you
Men
said,
suffer every day. A man's life is all about suffering. We go through that every day. But the crying part.
Pain is a happening. Suffering is a choice.
Yeah, but you can release pain for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Heck, you can cry for 10 minutes, and it's all. What's wrong with crying for 10 minutes, bro? We're to tell me that crying for 10 minutes makes me a weaker man. Makes somebody else a better man. 10 minutes
is wasting 10 minutes.
Bro, no. What if I cried for those 10 minutes, then I sleep less for 10 minutes? Am I okay then? Because if I sleep for 8 hours, I can decide, okay, I'll sleep for 7 hours in 50 minutes. Let me cry for those 10 minutes. Crying is very important, guys. Let's not lie to one another. Crying is important. And let me tell you, Mom, if you need to release that emotional stress, cry, bro. Let no women see you, because women, of course, watakudharau. They will see you as a weakling. People will see you as a weakling. We do many things without people seeing. So this one is one of them. Do it without them seeing. It benefits you than the latter. Crying benefits you. I won't lie to you. It doesn't make you a lesser man by crying. You cry if need be. Cry, bana. Andrew, me, I'm done. You just cry. I don't know how you do it. You just cry, bana. Sir.
Sir Lancelot.
Yep.
Have you seen a man crying?
I am a man. I cried, bro. I've seen Raila
Have
crying.
you
I've
seen
seen Ruto
somebody?
crying.
Have you seen somebody? Maybe it's your neighbor, or maybe it's your I don't know, whatever. Maybe it's your cousin crying.
I've seen a few.
Did you ask them why they was crying?
I don't, and I don't care. That doesn't concern me. Men go through shit. We go through shit out here. And our sisters don't know, our mothers don't know. We don't tell them to people. We sit alone at times. You are stressed, you are fucked up on your mind, and you wouldn't wish for anybody to see you at that particular moment. You just want to be alone so that nobody sees how weak you are. We do that, right? Women do that. I know because I do it. Women do that. There's a certain cocoon you set yourself in. When you're in, you get yourself that solitude moment that people can't see you at your weakest point. Women do that because we want to maintain that statue that we are men.
Okay, let me ask you.
Yeah.
When you get somewhere, you are heading somewhere to, when you find a place for you to cry as you are climbing, right?
Yeah.
When you are at that situation of crying,
yes,
what's exactly going on in your mind?
When you're crying, you're just crying. There's nothing going on in your mind. You just cry. You let it out. After it's done, then you find solutions.
So you are going there to cry. You are saying that, let me cry here just let it out.
Yes, when you're crying, you're not thinking. You're simply crying. That's the best thing about it. You're just crying, bro, and you feel it going out.
So when you are crying, you stop thinking.
You stop. You're not thinking of anything. You're just crying. You are responding to emotions.
I'm asking you, when you are, because you said, when you are crying, you stop thinking.
Yeah, when you're crying, you're not thinking. There are many things we do without thinking.
Why? So if crying stops somebody from thinking, why would you go to a thing that got you out of thinking, out of your mind, and a human being should not be out of his mind?
Do you think while sleeping? AM.
What?
Do you think while sleeping? When you're sleeping, are you thinking?
But sleep is a
no.
natural thing, you know.
AM. I told you.
Sleeping is a natural thing.
No. We should go step by step. You asked me if I think when I'm crying, right? I told you no.
Even children sleep, bro.
I'm asking you, when you're sleeping, are you thinking?
Not. I'm not.
Yeah. So we do many things while we are not thinking, bro.
Because sleeping is a natural thing, isn't it?
And crying also is natural. It's a natural emotional response. It's not something we buy on a shop. It's a response, just like thinking. Your body is tired, fatigue settles in. Now you need to sleep. Your brain shuts down. You need to sleep. Then you go and sleep, bro. Same as crying, same as laughing. It's the same thing. You're not thinking. You're just doing something.
So you want to tell us crying is a natural thing?
Yeah, crying is an emotional response, which is very natural and good for you. So if you feel that you not crying makes you a more better man.
Good for what? Good for what?
Hey, you just decided that you're not going to get the facts right, bro. I can't tell you any more.
No,
of this,
there is not. There is no fact out there. I didn't see any fact. What you're seeing is that you are trying to push the narrative that sweet your way of thinking, and you seem to be matching your emotional.
What you're trying to do is you're trying to prove that you are more masculine by not crying. That's what we're doing. We are doing here. You are trying to prove that you are more a man. You are more masculine by not crying. AM. That's what you're trying to say. And what I'm trying to tell you is that's okay for a man, and also it's okay for a man to cry as a means of handling stress.
We agreed crying for the babies and children.
Who agreed?
Because they have no other way of expressing
who agreed?
themselves.
You and who? AM, do you remember a single time you cried in your life?
Maybe when I was a kid, I think so. I used to cry a lot.
Okay, but when you are older now, do you remember a single time you've cried?
For sure. To be honest, I can't remember.
So let's say since from high school you've not cried, right?
I can say so.
Well, I'm a man also. I'm telling you, I've cried when I was young, a toddler, and I've cried when I was high school and above. And I'm telling you, you have not experienced it. I have. Now, you can't debate with something you have not done. I'm debating with something I've done. I did not cry, and when I was told to go and cry, I went and cried and saw the difference. So I'm giving you an analogy of what I've experienced. I've given you what I know. You are trying to disapprove what you don't know because you have not cried. Try crying. Next time, when it hits you real hard, try crying. See if it helps or it kills your ego as a man. Bro, don't feel your ego. Don't be masculine over nothing, bro. If you need to cry, cry. In private, there are many things we do in secret. Do it in secret the way you do the others, bro. People wank when they don't have girlfriends. Nobody sees you wanking. You just wank and shut the fuck up. Nobody knows you're wanking. And people have girlfriends. People have wives out here. They can't even lay in bed. But when they go out, you wouldn't know this man can't lay a woman. And they are men. They are walking outside the streets. Where's the harm in crying? Let's not lie to each other, bro. Crying helps. That's the thing. You cry. If you need to cry, you cry.
Do you believe at some point you will be somebody? You will be named as a maybe. Do you believe at some point you are going to die?
I will die. Yeah.
Appear from this world.
Yes, that's the natural way of things. Do you believe? Yes.
So you can say that everybody in this world at some point they are going to die, isn't it?
Yes, everybody's going to die.
So even your loved ones,
yeah,
at some point they are going to die, isn't it?
We understand that very well, yeah.
So we can agree now, things happen, that no more things.
What I'm trying you to understand, bro, I'm not disputing that you are a man if you don't cry. I'm not disputing that. What I'm trying to tell you is you are also a man when you cry. That is what I'm telling you. I'm not disputing that. You not crying does not...
Why can't you take that energy rather to deal with the situation?
For crying is 10 minutes, bro. What will 10 minutes do? Crying is for 10 minutes and you're good to go. That's what I'm telling you. You not crying does not make you a better man than me, bro. You not crying does not make you more masculine than me. That's just a facade. It's just a mask you wore. You wore because the social conventional laws says that men should not cry. Andrew believes men should not cry.
But it makes you cry, baby.
Well, that's okay. That's your... Everybody is entitled to an opinion. But
this is you, man. Every time you speak, when you speak, this is what I hear.
Well, it's true, bro. I cried, bro. And if something hits me hard, if I feel if there's enough reason and logic for me to cry, I would, man.
Thank you, Sir Lancelot and AM. As much as I love your exchange, I think the show must go on. And let me do my co-hosting duties before load shedding hits me. As you know, guys, I'm from a shithole country. So thank you, sir. So Pinches Vox, do you curl yourself in a fetal position, lock the world out, and cry yourself to death? Pinches. Going once, pinches. Going twice, going thrice. Okay. JKMN.
Yes, sir. How are you?
They say one man has given us a hot advice to be crybabies.
Yeah. Yes, and actually, I also came across such sentiments that Lancelot has. And for lack of better words, let's just say it's crappy, it's bullshit. Because I tried it once. I had a lot of stress, I had a lot of issues. So I came across that article that a man should be emotional, it helps. So I went upstairs at the rooftop there, and I was thinking about my issues, trying to get myself to cry my issues out. One tear rolled down, the other one rolled down, and I asked myself, like, why am I crying? Then I answered myself, because I have this and this issue. Then I asked myself, after crying, will that issue be solved? I told myself, no. The issue will still be there. In fact, it will even be bigger, because my eyes will be watery now. Everything you're seeing is big. I stopped crying and I solution actually. And from almost crying, I came up with a solution and I started another business from that. So maybe Lord, you should stop crying and maybe you'll come up with more better things, because crying, there's nothing happening. Like Nanya said, you're just wasting 10, 15, 20 minutes when you cry. Nothing happens, nothing changes. Your issue will still be there waiting for you. So no need to cry. In fact, if you want to cry, from what I've heard, is like you like crying, maybe now convert your tears from tears of sorrows to tears of joy. So that when you're having an issue, you handle that issue. After you finish that issue, now you can cry joyfully, not sorrowfully. So crying doesn't help.
What do you suppose are the adverse effects of men crying? What's the extreme part of men crying? I mean, and men being emotional, in touch of their emotions.
It's good to be in touch with the emotion, but doesn't mean you go all the way. Now, whenever you have an issue, you start crying, and then now you look at it. Because you even see when you look at a kid, when he can't express himself, he cries. So you'll be there like a kid. I think that's even worse, and that's the difference between a man and a kid. Like a man can communicate whatever he's going through. So crying doesn't help. Even if a person has died, because I remember the time my mom died and I was quite young and I only cried once. And that's when I cried, when it hit me that we are now alone on this trip. There's no one else, it's just me and my siblings. That's the only time I cried. And I never cried even the day we were burying my mom, because I know, like, no matter how much I cry, it doesn't bring her back. So the advice that Lancelot is giving is very good, but now he's giving it to the wrong audience. That is something you should be telling women to cry so that it doesn't suppress their anger, because as a man, if someone angers you, you deal with that shit there and there. You don't postpone it. You deal with it. You don't push it under the rug. So people who cry are the one who like pushing things under the rugs, because it's like, what if I start saying this and then I end up crying for another man? So they push it down the rug because they don't want to cry in front of another man. So crying doesn't help much.
Thank you, man. You can go back to the speakers and go back in, because your sound is not that good. But we did hear your sentiments that crying is not good for men. And you know what the funny part is? The funny part is Mr. Lancet was told to cry by a woman. So why would you even begin to listen to a woman? Pinches.
For me, I'll just add to Sir Lancelot. There's someone he asked about whether he has ever tried crying before to see the solution he got. I'll ask him to not cry for once when he has so much emotions, and hold it in and don't cry and see the solution he's going to get after. Because I read somewhere that an emotional man is a dangerous man, because he has the brain of a man and he has the brain of a man and the emotions of a woman. once you bring the emotions to your let me say, how do I put it? Once you bring out your emotions out, there's no way you're going to make a solution out of without using the emotions that you brought out.
Mm-hmm.
The situation that brought Sir Lancelot to cry, because he said like he cries a lot, meaning every time he cries, the solution is going to get after he has finished crying has to have some emotions in it. For me, I've tried being alone and I've tried sitting down and trying to cry, but I always end up not crying. It's always so hard. I've seen those places like I should be a man and show emotions, but I've tried it before. I always sit down alone, try to now to bring the emotion out so that I can cry. It doesn't get to that point. My brain always shifts to what should you do after? What are you willing to?
Mm-hmm.
You see, that's the situation why I've not cried before. I've been through a lot, and in any situation where I lock myself down and I say like I want to cry, it never happens. Like my brain always shifts to the solution instant. What am I going to do? That's the point of my life where I feel like crying doesn't bring anything. In fact, it brings you to a point where every decision you make after crying is emotional. Like for him, Sir Lancelot, ask him how he makes decisions after he cries, and let him sit down on them and discover that there is some emotions in every decision he makes after crying. That's from me.
Man. I can already see Sir Lancelot in his pink pajamas holding his teddy bears. I'm going through a hard time with his makeup on, crying and crying.
Yeah.
Pinches. You know what the fucked up part is children will always cry for mommy. I mean, children will always cry for mommy. So how does a woman respond to a call of a crying man? Doesn't she rather see the man as a child as well, Mr. Pinches?
I think he sees him as a child. Not even I think, he's always going to see him as a child. And that's why Kiba at some point always said, at some point he always said, do not listen to your mom, because your mother has seen you crying. He's always going to treat you like a kid, no matter how old you get, no matter how many decisions you have to make as a man. Once someone sees you crying from a tender young age, he's always going to put you in that category that you cannot suppress his thinking. So I can see where Sir Lancelot is coming from. He has been in a situation where he has been crying all along. So like it has been part of him. It is building up to him, to the person he is right now. So like bringing it out is meaning he's under control over something. You can check on his bringing up. There's some places where he has never disagreed with the parents on something. There's something that has brought him up to accepting that he's inferior at some point. Like he cannot make decision on his own. He cannot overcome his emotions.
He's still letting on his mother's theories. Sir Lancelot, hold on. You'll get your whips. They will come momentarily, but you will get your whips. Thank you, Mr. Pinches. Andrew, man, you know this country, I'm about to be load shedded, so I might as well turn it back to you. Mr. Kaib.
Maybe Lancelot can cry while we are eating.
JKM, man, your sound is trash. Kibe.
Sir Lancelot should tell us how he cries.
Kibe, are you crying? Gift. Out of the space, just know that I've been hit by load shedding. But either way, we can't wait for Andrew to cry. At some point, the show has to go on. Mr. Alonso.
Yes. I need.
Yes, go on.
I need to clarify something. You see, all these men telling you that crying is weak, they are puny as fuck. Look at JKM. JKM really told you that he cried twice. And then after he cried, what did he do? He thought, like, how is crying helping me? Before he cried, he did not think of that. Am I lying or saying the truth, bro?
He said he did admit that he cried,
yes,
but then he said that he couldn't find any help in crying.
Yeah. Yes, Mark. So I'm asking you, why didn't he think of that before? Emotional stress in him. So after he cried, and then now his eyes open like, well, okay, I've cried and still there's no solution. So what should I do? Look for the solution. That's what I told you. And I'm not saying that even if I've had a small problem or even I'm stressed, I go and cry. No, that's the last time I cried actually when my dad died. That's the last time I cried since I was in high school. That's the last time. You see, Pinches cried for different reason. Pinches totally cried for this different reason. He was stressed by a woman probably. You said it here. So you can't cry because of a woman and you're a man. Now that's being stupid. And I was speaking on the aspect of death. I was speaking on the aspect of death, bro. You can't play with the death. I won't cry because my girlfriend has left me. I won't cry because I've not had my salary or if somebody has decided not to pay me my money. No, I can't cry because of that, bro. But when death knocked on my door, I did cry. So even JKM is saying that I am weak. No, JKM is just puny and trying to be masculine over nothing. He's trying to be masculine over nothing. He cried. He experienced it. Then after crying, he had the closure. Okay, this has happened. I have cried. Then he looked for the solution and he found the solution. And that's what I said. When you cry, you go sober. When you go sober, you find a solution. That's what I said from the beginning.
Magduk.
Crying.
Yes, sir.
Sir Lancelot, you're letting this Sir Lancelot just talk about this crying forever and ever.
Bro, let's put a pin on. Are you done crying?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done crying. You're all puny as fuck.
But you know, I mean, let me ask you one question, Sir Lancelot, before you go.
Yeah.
Like if you said you have kids, right?
Yes.
So if you find your kids crying, you'll ask them what's wrong. Why are you crying?
Yes.
If your kids are to do something wrong and you beat them, you'd allow them to cry, but only for a very short period of time.
Yes.
Because now beyond that, then it's something else.
Yeah, it's something else.
So if you beat your kids, maybe they stole some money from you and you said, I'll give you 5 canes each, and you cane them 5 times, and they cry for 2 days. That would be something different, right?
Yeah, true.
So even crying has an amount of time allotted to it.
Yes, yeah.
Okay? And it has also people it's allotted to.
It has people allocated to, like, there are some certain kind of people who should cry and there's some others who should.
Yes. Like if you find a grown-up crying because they are hungry, then you'd think they're crazy, right?
Yeah, that's stupidity. Why should you cry because you're hungry, bro?
Or like if you find a grown-up...
If you're hungry, you should go look for food.
Yes, if you find a grown-up crying because they are... maybe they need to take a shit and they're just crying.
That's stupid.
Or you find a grown-up crying because they need to sleep, but they can't sleep, so they are very tired, but they can't sleep, so they're just crying. You'd think this person is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so even with grown-ups, there's some emotions that you should outgrow. Just like Magduk told you earlier, that when I was a child, I did things like a child. I reasoned like a child, but now I'm a grown-up.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm able to overcome some of these things that happen, like the pain. Before, if you were caned twice, you would cry when you were a small kid, and then you'd grow up knowing that you don't have to cry all the time just because there is pain.
Yeah.
And then you'd realize that, in fact, the crying was was not serving you at all. So there's no reason to cry. So when you're telling men to go out there and cry for 10 minutes, where are they crying for 10 minutes? And is it 10 minutes, my 10 minutes, or your 10 minutes?
Andrew, when I spoke on the aspect of crying, I spoke about death, right? The topic was death.
So you spoke about death, and you said, have you ever had someone close to you pass away?
Yeah, that hit you real hard.
Yes,
that forced you to cry. Yeah, that was the aspect of it. I'm not saying that if your girlfriend leaves you, you should go and cry. No. I'm not saying that when you get turbulence in your life, if you're not stable, that you should cry.
So what about a dog? What if a dog was to die? Are you going to cry?
No, if a dog dies, it's goddamn it. I'm talking, Kibe. I was talking about a parent, bro. That's my dad.
Yeah,
that's
but dad, it's an important part of the family. The dog. Are you kidding me? You can can be thrown in federal prison if you play with a man's dog.
No, Andrew, I think US has clouded your mind. In Kenya, bro, we don't know about the dog. US has brought you in now. They've clouded your mind, the dogs and the cats.
All right. Hold on.
We don't do that.
Hold on, Salah. Let me hear from G Sport. G Sport, are you there?
Yes, sir.
What's happening, G Sport?
Man, I'm just hearing men cry today.
It's a crying cry. It's a crier.
It's a crying world, though.
Yeah.
Man, this guy should tell us how he cries. Some of us don't know.
Maybe he's crying in the rain. Have you ever seen a child crying in the rain? That's him. Sir Lancelot.
Man, when kids cry, I even hate kids. How can a man cry?
Is it normal? Is it normal though for a man to be emotional?
Never, man. I lost my dad like when I was 12 years old, and up to now, I've never cried about it.
But this guy is saying that one day you'll go somewhere and you'll just explode. There'll be an emotional outburst and you'll explode and you'll remember all the people who died in your life, all the missed opportunities, and you'll just cry because you've been holding it in for too long.
This guy surrounds himself with girls.
Too many vagina around him.
Too many vaginas, bro.
That's some madness. All right, so it's open mic Fridays. Anything else on your mind, bro?
Nah, just at least now we have a king.
King Charles.
Yes, sir.
And let's see if anything changes. I doubt a lot will change. This guy has been weak for a minute. You know, if he was the right guy, he would have already, offed his mom.
Yeah.
How old is he? Let me see. How old is King Charles?
76.
Huh?
70-something.
No way. King Charles.
Yes, sir.
Let me see. Hey, this guy is going to be called King Charles. He's been waiting for 50 years. God damn it.
Those guys will even change the national anthem for him.
Oh, the better. Me, I would change everything. How old is King Charles? Let's see. It must be the most searched. He's 73. You're right. He's 73 years. Bro,
yeah.
You've been made king 73, bro.
You're waiting to die.
Man, what is there after 73? After 73, you can't even enjoy. Half the time you are sleeping.
Maybe we should cry like Sir Lancelot suggests.
Maybe, yeah. He cry himself. Come on. 73? Hey, okay. All right. Let me hear from Ginger. Ginger, are you there? Ginger.
Yes. Ginger is here. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
What's up, Ginger?
On the topic of crying is not bad. Let us not demonize crying. You can be overwhelmed. And that's just you being in your element. Okay? So that you cannot even know that you're crying. Say in a case of sadness, in a case of a breakup. Yeah? So men, like that guy who assumes that crying is normal, you cry because you have expectations. You cry because maybe whatever, for instance, if your business goes down and You want to cry because you're broke. You cry because you had expectations. So you need to live this life without attachments, because once you have attachments, when you lose the things that you have attachments to, you'll find yourself crying because your expectations have been made evil. Thank you.
So is that a yes on the crying? Or?
No. I don't support crying. Be a man. You cry because maybe you've seen it. You've seen it with other people. It is things you've seen in the TV, and you think it's a normal thing. It is something that you don't have it naturally. You've just seen it from other people, and you think that even you, maybe if you cry or if you do that, you'll be like those people. So I'm not for the crying thing. Though you can be in your element and just find yourself overwhelmed and just cry, but I don't support that. It is something that should be in your mind that if something happens, you have to cry. If you encounter a sadness or maybe somebody dies, you have to cry. You can still be strong, and whoever has died, just that.
All right, yeah. Crying is for attention seekers. Yeah. Thank you. Attention Seekers International. You find yourself crying. That's what kids do. They are calling for your attention. Hey, I'm here. There's something wrong with me. I could be either I'm too full, or I'm hungry, or I'm constipated. I need to sleep. I've taken a shit and I need to be cleaned. I'm sick. So the kid doesn't know how to communicate. So the kid cries so that you can come and do that, figuring out what the problem is. Now I come to you as a grown man. You're in your 20s. You're crying. What are we supposed to, what's the conversation there? What are we discussing? You're crying. Yes, so we are, how do we start to come back to the convo? You're crying, yes. Then what? What are we doing after this? Shoto. Todoroki.
Yeah, good morning, Andrew.
What's up?
I want to, hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I want to speak to my friend JM. This guy is my personal friend. Like, I know him. We come, we play PS together, so I know this guy. So I had these comments, and I was like, why would you say it? So I wanted to ask, when was the last time you cried? When did you cry? You see, when was it? When you lost your parent? But when was this? Was it long time ago, or was it recently?
Are you asking me or JM?
I'm asking JM. I don't know if he's still around.
Oh, so you know JM personally, and now you're asking him a personal question.
JM is my friend. So we've spoken about some stuff before. So I just want to understand, when was this when he cried?
Oh, when he went to the rooftop?
Yes, yeah, when he went to the rooftop.
No, he said he went to the rooftop and he sat down and he tried to summon all the emotions he had been told to summon so that he can cry and feel better, and he couldn't summon them.
You see, Andrew, I can only speak of what I know, and I can't really speak of what I don't know. I don't know if you remember me, but I was raised by aunties. I told you that I was raised by my aunties. There was no man until after college. So I've been recovering, but recently, 6 months ago, my nyanya left me, like 7 months ago. So when my nyanya left, I cried. So I think I was crying. I don't know what I was. So many emotions. I thought of so many things. I cried a lot in front of her. She was also crying. She cried, but the feeling after the crying. Do you know? After I cried, almost the whole day, the whole afternoon. It happened around lunchtime. So the whole afternoon I cried.
So you said you cried in front of her. You cried in front of who?
In front of my nyanye. Let's not go there.
Oh, when she passed on?
No, my girlfriend left me.
Your girlfriend left you?
And the girlfriend was older than me.
Wait, hold up. Why are you rushing through this story? So your girlfriend, who's older than you, leaves you?
Yes.
And tells you that I'm leaving you, Shoto?
Yes, because I am...
puny.
Because I am too young for her.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I start crying. I break down. I cry, and then she breaks down with me, and she's like, "I'm sorry."
Uh-huh.
Okay, don't try. Don't laugh.
So you are all crying there, just the two of you crying in each other's arms. Uh-huh.
And I swear to God, we looked really ugly when we were crying. We cried for like an hour, and then
What?
like almost the whole afternoon we spent crying. It was in my house, so we were just crying here, and then I just, after crying, I found I passed through the mirror. I passed through the mirror.
Wait, hold up. So you're crying as you're talking, or you're just crying?
No, when she said, "Oh, we know you are too young for me, and like you have goals that doesn't align with my, like I always say, I want to get married I want to get into dating, like into serious thing at 40." So she was like, she said, "I was waiting for us to get married, and now you want to marry at 40. By then I will be 50. She will be 50. She'll be very old by then." So we cried. We cried.
So are you holding each other, or?
Yes. Yeah, it started like, okay, so I was just crying. I started crying, and then she started crying, and then I went to the bedroom, and then she fought me.
This is not a real story. It cannot be a real story.
This is a true story. That JM knows the story. That's why I'm telling you. I know him in person. He's my friend.
So this old woman who's your girlfriend, she told you she cannot wait for you to get to 40 because she'll be too old then, and she'll not be able to get kids, right?
Actually, I used to play you see these recorded morning shows at night.
Yes.
So there was a show that you was talking about, and then I put it on the telly, and then the things you were saying were kind of hurting her, I think. So since that day, things just changed. So she just came and like, "Oh, since Andrew and Americ's came, you've changed. You like Nona, so many things." And then now I have to like, let me just leave. And so I think she had a boyfriend or something else. I don't know where she went. 6 months down the line since then. That was in January.
No, wait. Don't rush through. So you started crying, she started crying, and you held each other, and you cried, and you cried.
Yes.
So when you're crying, what is going through your mind?
When you're crying, Andrew, you don't even think of what just happened. You're thinking of what you've invested here, what you've done here, what went into this, the plans you had, those strategic plans you make with someone that, I want to buy this for this, I want to do this, thinking of this woman, I want to maybe sometimes, maybe go home. In fact, I even had the courage to call my mom. I did not call my mom and to tell her, but I wanted to. That is when I started listening to you, I think like 7 months ago. So I was like, and everything just turned black. At that point, you don't actually think of what just happened. You're regretting. It's regret that you're regretting the past, the future, your plans, everything goes through your mind. You can even you can be crying about something else, and then maybe thinking of something that happened some times back. So those emotions just come, and
so.
But Andrew, let's go to the point.
Hey. So you guys cried the whole afternoon, and then after that, did you have sex?
Well, no, we didn't have sex that day. We had sex the next day. So that day I cried. We cried the whole afternoon. I looked, and then at night when she went, I still cried. When I was alone in the house, I cried. And then I went to the mirror to shower, and then I saw myself crying. The sight was like, I wouldn't want to see that sight again. So that's what made me break up with her the next day. So the next day she came and she was like, "I'm sorry, I said this. I didn't know it will elicit such reactions from you. I didn't even know you were that serious with this relationship. So you ended up crying like that." So then we tried making up, and then I remembered how I cried yesterday. And then And then,
Andrew.
and then I
Yes,
Andrew.
Yes, Magduk.
I need to do something before I get load shedded. I think the fate of the universe hangs on the balance.
All right, go ahead.
Mark Duke. Getting weak from South African men. Okay, so after the next day when we broke up, I told her that what you made me feel yesterday, I wouldn't want to go through that again. So I don't think we can do this anymore. And we even cried again that day, the next day after having sex. Even cried was eating. Especially. So, so from what I listened from Lancelot, you crying is I don't know. I can't say crying. Andrew, stop laughing.
Shoto.
Yes.
Are you Luo?
Yes, I'm a Luo.
What's going on there, bro?
Where?
I mean, is it a Luo thing?
To cry?
Yeah.
Oh, Andrew.
So you guys cried for 3 days continuous.
So 2 days. But anyway, so I wanted to the reason I was asking JM when he cried, when he wanted to cry at the rooftop, and what Sir Lancelot said about the feeling you feel, what you feel after crying, that's what I wanted to understand. Because I remember when I was in college, I used to buy tears sometimes to get laid. There was a notion sometimes back that if you love me, if a man cries for you, he loves you. So I'm a very good actor by there. That's what I do for a living. So I can cry on cue. I can cry even now. I can cry and shed tears for nothing. So I used to think this is a skill I should harness. This is fun. Like I can change my mood the way I want. So I used to think this is normal. This is normal thing to do. And after listening to you guys and being here and reading books about it, now I'm starting to understand, like, is it bad? I should not cry. And then how I felt after crying when my woman went, I felt relieved. I was like, oh, that was nice. So I wanted to relate it to the fact what Lancelot said about what you feel after crying. Like, do you remove that thing from your chest? I don't know. I just wanted to understand. That's why I was asking JM, at what point did you cry? And when you cried, what did you feel after crying? And because you can't really say crying is bad and wait, you've never cried. Like, for me, I cried and I really felt nice after crying. I was like, and I told her, you will not make me go through that again. And that's why I left her permanently, because I didn't like the look, like how I looked when I was crying for real. You know, when there's this crying, you cry for drama. You have a cheeky smile. You just, but there's a real cry. Yeah.
Hey, goddamn.
So yeah, that's my submission. That's my question. Why do you say crying is bad? Like, what happens? Does it make you weak or what? Like, why do you say crying is bad? I just wanted to understand. I swear.
Hey, yeah, you guys are something else. You guys are something else. It is a lot of work just to think about how to explain this crying business to me. All right, hold up, Shoto. Hold up. Okay. Mute your mic. Sir Lancelot, you wanted to say something as a rebuttal, or?
Kibe, what I want to say, I want to put something straight. If you people believe that Sir Shoto crying is what I mean, then I renounce. That's not what I mean. I don't say that you should cry for a whole 3 days because of your girlfriend. No, I'm not saying that. My situation was different, but like Shoto has said, it helped him. Do you understand how it helped him? Because if he did not cry then, he will not have that exposure, that closure that this girl is bad for me. You see, but he cried he let it out. Well, as Peaches was saying, that he tried to cry, but the tears never came out. It's because the reason why he was crying wasn't worthy enough. You see, if you have enough reasons to do something, it will happen. It's just like killing. People don't kill because you don't have enough reason to kill. You have not been put in a position like it's either you kill or get killed. But when you're put in there, like it's either do or die, you will kill somebody. So it's the same as crying. Crying, there's something that triggers you to cry. And if it's something worthy, that cry, you will cry. It's not a low thing, Andrew, like you're putting it, because this guy cried for all 2 days, bro, and the girl is there, bro.
But Sir Lancelot, are you low?
Yeah, I'm low, bro. I'm low.
The common denominator here.
No, bro, I never cried because of a girl, bro. I've never cried because of a girl.
But you've cried like a little bitch, crying all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Hold up, Sir Lancelot. I'll come back to you. It's crying Luos. G-Spot.
Like I get the angle which they come from. Like I've gotten laid so much using some pity stories, but crying, bro, crying. Nah.
So wait, you guys go and you give these ladies sob stories for her to open her legs or what?
No. Like
you guys are so disgusting. You use manipulation. What's the difference between you and a woman? Disgusting men out here. You go, so you start crying from the time she sees you. Oh, my pet tortoise died today. How do you do it? One day I'll try and give them my sob story of the dog that I used to have when I was 10 years old. That was taken to the impound. It never came back.
Dig that.
Sorry?
Chicks dig that. They dig the sob story so much. Maybe Sir Lancelot will tell us.
Chicks dig sob stories. No wonder the gift is always crying here. By the time he's done crying, 3 women are in his inbox. Oh, come here, let me hold you virtually. Hacked, are you here?
Hello, Kibe, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, go ahead.
Okay, I think I understand what Shota is saying. You see, I read once in a book that actually why people like crying is because of something called entitlement. When you cry, you feel like the world is against you. Then that somehow gives you a good feeling. I don't know how it happens psychologically, but it was written by Mark Manson in The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. So what he says is that when people cry, now it gives them some therapeutic feeling when they feel like the world is against them. Now they feel actually good. And then some women, that turns them on because the woman sees someone who she can relate to. Now if you find a sob woman and you are a sob man, now the two of you, when you start crying, the woman feels like she has found a part of her. Now that's why she gives you sex. Now you some people manipulate women through crying, but then some people actually like, now I think, what was his name? Shoto. I think he just has some issues. That's why he loves crime, because he feels like the world is against him. He feels like he's entitled to something. That's why people have depression, because when you start crying, you feel like the world is going against you. So like it gives you like some kind of high. You get distracted from your normal problems. You feel like actually you should be having those problems. You are more entitled to having happiness than others, something like that. Yeah.
Have you guys ever had one of these girlfriends who just cry all the time? If you've had a girlfriend like that, you'd know how detrimental crying is. Crying is so wrong. That if you had one of these girlfriends who just cry, and she just cries for the flimsiest reason, and you're looking at her like is there a brain inside that head? Why are you crying? Why can't we talk about this and try and solve this problem? That's what men do. We look at the problem and solve it. What's this crying going to solve? What is going to help? How does it help at all? So you feel better and your feelings matter? Do these feelings of a man matter in this world? That if this man cries today, he could solve problems? Your tears have no use, have never been needed. Only when you were a child, when you needed to breastfeed or to eat or to do or to sleep. But now you can communicate and open your mouth and say, this is a problem. I mean, we used to be beaten for crying. Like, hey, why are you still crying? That beating was 2 hours ago. How can you still be crying? Now you need another beating for crying. Wasike. Psych. Wasike, are you there? And it's this thing of being raised by a single mother. They're the ones who try and get you in touch with your emotions. Oh no, just get in touch. Imagine women telling you to get in touch with your emotions. You as a man, a woman is telling you, oh, you know, you need to be as emotional as possible. And you look at her and you start crying with her and as you're washing dishes or what. What are you guys doing? Awasiki, are you there?
Hello,
You keep...
5 minutes, I'll be back. 5 minutes.
Gadecha.
Yes, Kibe. I think I'm watching a movie, the Crying Freeman, literally, where men are saying it's good to cry. Even when I was lambistic, I never cried. I've never had a crying girlfriend. These bitches are so masculine. Have you? Have you ever? I think women usually cry for the alpha men, you know. And I was Kenodia then. So why are they crying when I'm a small boy? Anyway, moving forward away from crying. You've mentioned a story that you looked at a girl and you're wondering whether there's a brain in the head. What's the story behind that? Why was your girl crying?
Oh, I used to have a girl who would cry because of anything. She would cry when she was wrong. She would cry when she was right. She would cry about everything. She just, man, it was so tiring. It was so tiring. She cries when she's happy, when she's sad. We're always expecting crying. I'm like, when are we ever going to do anything important in life?
Is it the same as manipulation, or it's just mood swings all the time?
It is madness and manipulation and witchcraft. Because what's this crying about? Why would you cry through your adult life? That doesn't make any sense.
Were you treating her badly in the relationship, or was it all wrong? She didn't have anything. You didn't give her time or food or nothing, or she was just crying because she felt like it.
Why would she be in a relationship she's not happy in? She's just a crier. This crying business. Yeah. And then you know what happens with women, especially when if you're this type of guy who's not easily controllable, then they're going to try and control you with other means. And that crying is one of them. So even for your children, you must be very careful so that your kids don't manipulate you with this crying. It's very manipulative because once you can talk, why do you need to cry?
You don't need to.
Yeah, you can talk and say this is the problem. Now you're crying, meaning you've been overwhelmed. How am I going to deal with an overwhelmed, emotional bitch?
Unless it's a woman, you can't. And I'm thinking crying men are dangerous because they tend to also be simps. And according to Kevin Samuels and you, simping is dangerous because you'll find a simp is the one who gets in between a fight between a boyfriend and a girlfriend. Let's say you and your girl are arguing in town. You'll notice that somewhere, some Kenodia doesn't know why you're arguing, but they'll jump in between you two and hold you down and pin you down.
Oh, this Captain Saverhose are many out there.
Yeah, they're crying. They'll hold a crying woman and start crying with them. Like there's a popular joint in my mtaa called Villagers Lounge. So when I was in a relationship, I was stopped from going to bars. Oh shit, Jesus! I was stopped from going to bars, being told drinking is bad. Why are you going out to the boys and you're in a relationship? So I used to watch the club from afar because I didn't want to lose the relationship then. And one night, she wasn't there. I think she was working by then because I had a living girlfriend. So I'm looking out the window
and I see a guy in his car telling the girl, ingia tuende bana. You've already done what you've done, so ingia ama mimi nikuache. So it means enter or I leave you. The guy wants to drive away from the club, and maybe they go home or wherever. But the girl is outside the car crying, trying to stop the guy. Now the girl has attracted a lot of guys. And before the man could explain himself, I think he was robbed of his phone because people are coming trying to understand you. And then they manhandle you because why are you manhandling a woman? Are you even a man for manhandling your woman? And she's crying? Huh? So not only has the crying got into your head and drained you of your energy, you've also gone at a loss. Your phone is gone and your drinks are gone. Mafuta, money, food.
iPhone Pro Max 13.
I don't know what phone he lost, but I heard him saying, simu yangu, kuna mtu ameniingia mfuko. So I'm like, damn. If you'd gone to Cabernet Gardens and bought 2 for 5K.
Oh yeah. And you know that 5K is inclusive of lunch, and it's a good lunch somewhere.
Wait, there's lunch?
No, I mean it's 2K a piece, so you get two beaches. Mm-hmm. Then maybe you get 2 drinks.
Ooh, okay.
And then like something small to eat for about 500 bob. So 5,000, you're sorted, you're done. You live to fight another day.
But I'm usually thinking, let's go back to the mathematics. I'm usually thinking, do guys end up spending more because they try getting it for free and through manipulative methods? Like you tell a chick, let me take you out on a date, but she knows you want to smash. So you end up taking her to a decent place like Big Square, where the cheapest meal is like 600. So that's 600 bob for 2 of you. And then maybe you buy 2 milkshakes. That's another 1,000 bob. So you're over 200 bob of what you would have spent if you'd actually gone the right route for a woman who's actually enthusiastic because she's doing a job.
I like how you use the word enthusiastic. All of this is just prostitution. Only that some people pay more, others pay less. If you don't want to waste your time, go straight to the source. Imagine taking a woman for dinner, and then at the end of the night, you still have to pay her. How does that make sense, though? All right, hold up, Gadeta, hold up. Let me hear from, who is this? Wasike is back. Wasike, then I'll come to you, Tato.
Yes. Morning.
What's up?
This is what I have to tell you guys. This story of all crying takes us back to yesterday's topic where we said what letting your child, whatever. Those people who used to appreciate their children by giving them good gifts like iPhones, vehicles, are the same people whose children, when the parent dies, the child goes on crying too much, or I have no hopes, I have no life, because you never prepare this child for a life without you. And a good parent always prepares his or her children for life without them. How? By giving them giving them shelter, clothing, food. And when the matter of food comes in once the child is born, you don't go to job and leave your child with a nun or a maid, a household. That's wrong, because you are interfering with the immunity of this child. The money you are struggling to go get from the job is the money you spend on this child because you interfered with his or her immunity. So from the word go, we need to give this, prepare these children for life without us, we as the parents. And that's why most people will fail to understand this concept, and later come when they are grown up or their children are grown up, they start blaming, saying that, why this? Death is a must. That's the first thing you have to understand. You don't know what tomorrow comes. Tomorrow is not assured. It's just a matter of we being on this planet Earth. But what tomorrow holds of us, we don't know. So one thing you have to understand is being born is just a miracle, but death is a must. So this thing which is a must, why are we trying to say that is a big deal? Why can't you take being born as a big deal? So we need to understand some things, like the disciplining factor. You don't discipline the child first before telling the child the mistake. First, get your child there, ask him or her. Give warnings before disciplining. For example, you tell the child, today I told you not to do this thing. The child goes on, repeat the same thing. You tell the child, I warned you. The child does the same thing. Then tell the child, I've warned you severally. You've not taken in the instructions. Go down. I'm going to give you 3 strokes. Discipline the child and let the child not cry. Once you allow the child to cry, after disciplining him or her, the child will take it like you are the person who's on the wrong. But if the child doesn't cry or you tell the child don't cry because you did a mistake, the child will be like, indeed, I'm the one to carry the cross. Thank you.
Interesting. All right, Wasike, mute your mic. All right, let me hear from Freaky Nation 254. Someone who seems to want to speak too much. Freaky Nation, are you there?
Hello.
Yes.
Kibe.
Yes, go ahead.
So, about Wasike, the topic about Wasike, about us whooping. I think the traditional way our parents used to whoop us should be considered again. Because if you let your child control you, as in by being sympathetic, I think the child will not respect you.
Man, what's going on in your background there? There's a lot of noise.
Matwak.
All right, so your point is, if your child does what? If you're sympathetic towards your child or what? What is your point?
Yeah, back in the days, you're not given warnings. It was direct ass whooping. If you do a mistake, you get punished, you learn. But children of nowadays, you being sympathetic, they don't listen, they talk back to you and all that shit. I think the traditional way should be considered again.
Just beat the shit out of this kid.
Huh?
Man, there's so much noise behind there, man. I'm really struggling to hear you. All right, hold up. Who is this? Lafrique, mute your mic. Yeah, he's saying we need to consider the traditional way of doing things. We have made our society so soft that right now men are considering crying. A man considers it as a way out, as an option. And then what happens when you cry? Then what happens? Yes, we have cried now. Then have the problems been sorted magically? They've just sorted themselves out. Tato, are you here?
What's up, gentlemen? As always.
Sure, Tato. Just before you get in.
Okay, sure. What's up, man?
Thank you, bro. Andrew, did you know that Tato is my homeboy?
Well, like you guys are buddies for real. It's not just South Africans.
Not like buddies, but we are from the same. We are from the same neighborhood.
No, have you ever met each other?
The thing is, I was born in the area that he's from, but I moved to Joburg later on, and I keep visiting my Hikeng all the time. But that's my hometown, basically.
Nice. Have you guys crossed swords yet?
I never really grew up in Mafikeng. I grew up in Jozi, you know, but I always visit. But that we haven't. You might find that we know similar people, etc. You know, you never know.
Yeah.
Andrew, you were throwing jabs yesterday. Hey, throwing jabs at me, man. Like I got a call and I got kicked out. So it wasn't load shedding. I'm not in SA at the moment. We'll sort out that load shedding issue, man.
Bro, you're in South Africa. Are you?
I'm in Abu Dhabi, bro.
But the South African cast is following you wherever you go. They will start load shedding in Abu Dhabi because of you.
No, I doubt it. By the way, guys, I must say my gym session got cut off this morning because, geez, guys, I just couldn't stop laughing. I mean, this conversation has been so interesting and so funny. You know, my take on this is, look, never cry in front of your woman. I mean, men shouldn't cry, okay? But men do cry. You know, let's be dead honest. I mean, I'm not the type to cry or to do anything to that effect. That's not what I do. That's not how I roll. But looking back, there have been situations when I lost my mother. I cried. I turned aside. I cried. I saw my father cry for the first time when he lost when my mom died. And then his nephew passed as well. I mean, I saw him just, you know, and he's a manly man, you know, but I could tell, like, he's not trying to do it in front of us, etc. But it just flowed out. So I think, you know,
so
gentlemen.
why didn't he want to do it in front of you guys if it is okay to do it?
No, the same way I don't do it in front of my kids. I just feel like men shouldn't show that side of themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Why not?
Deal with it on your own.
Why not show that side of yourself, yet it's okay? It's not a bad thing, is it?
Kibe, it's like you saying, I meditate. You don't need to tell the whole world that you meditate or you pray. You know what I'm saying? It's something that you do, and if it helps you wherever it helps you, you do it. I'm not for this nonsense of dudes saying, oh, a man doesn't do this, a man does. Guys, do what's going to help your mental health. I mean, if you feel like crying, do it knowing the consequences of doing that. Let's say if your wife...
But my question is, if you do it in front of your kids, the kids will think of you a certain way. If you do it in front of your wife will think of you a certain way. And if you do it even in front of your friends or your family, they'll start to look at you in a different type of way. So if it has in fact, it is more detrimental to you when you cry in front of people than if you don't. So if we know that, and there's no value of you crying in front of people, what value could you possibly get by doing it when you're by yourself?
I think in certain situations it's a natural reaction, like getting an erection. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are certain situations that pop up.
Uh-huh.
You lose your mom, and you're in a certain mindset, and you by yourself, and you aligning everything. Let's say you're in a meeting, you don't have such thoughts, but then you find yourself, you know, thinking about it. It can happen.
So you become nostalgic, and you start thinking about how your mom used to carry you when you were a small boy, and you become emotional, and you start crying, right?
No, not like that, bro. Like, let's just be honest here. I mean, there's nothing to joke around with. I mean, when it happens to you with someone dear to you, it can happen, bro. It can happen. It's not to say you flipping crying around your wife or your kids or your auntie.
But we agreed. It doesn't matter what has happened. If your kids were to see you crying, there's a certain respect they lose for you, including even your wife. If she was to see you crying, it doesn't matter who has died. It could be the Queen of England, it could be your mother, it could be your father, it could be your dog, it could be your favorite dog. You could have lost your teddy bear. Whatever it is that has happened to you, once you cry, then even your children look at you in a different way. So if there's no value to cry in front of them, what value could you possibly eke out from crying by yourself?
You know, I heard some brothers talking about they lost parents at 10, at 12, and they never cried. I think they're talking a lot of bullshit. I mean, you know, what I would do in such a situation is say that kid needs to go see a psychologist, go chat to your grandparents or your elders in the family. That's bullshit. People do cry. People do cry in situations. And as a kid, at 10 or 12, you have not grown, you do not understand life. So you're telling me at 10 or 12, you understood life and what a man's purpose is. Those are the guys that go around shooting guys.
But no. Wait. Slow down. You're not answering the question. Why are you running away from the question? Because now you're deflecting. I asked you, if there is no value of crying in front of them, what value do you get of crying in private?
I think there's a certain weight that might leave your body or your mindset, and you're able to kind of channel things accordingly. It depends on the situation, Andrew. We cannot sit here and just say it's broad and, But gentlemen, don't go out there.
No, wait. But when they see you crying, they think of you in a certain way. Why would you not want to cry in front of them? Because crying...
Okay, there's a funeral. It's your mother. Okay, but listen to this. Your mom passes. Yes. There's a funeral. You're there with your kids.
Yes.
And a tear comes out of your eye. Does that make you a weak man?
It depends on how big the tear is. And where is it
going? Exactly. So, no, I'm not for crying. Trust me, but I'm saying there are situations. Men shouldn't cry. We find solutions. We're leading. We're doing all of that. However, there will be a situation in life that will cause you to cry. And you just handle it and deal with it, dust yourself off, you move on. That's what I'm saying. And to be dead honest with you, these brothers that say they've never shed a tear, I'm sure they're the biggest criers out there. You know what I'm saying? So
no, I don't know what you're saying, because I am one of those brothers, and I don't see the need for crying. I don't see the need for these tears that you guys are pushing out here. You've been made emotional by the women around you. Now you're trying to make men emotional like you. Men are not supposed to have those emotions, those puny emotions. For what?
So me leading my family, me being masculine, and me losing my mom or my grandmother and then crying, not in front of anyone, by myself. That's puny. That's
as fuck. It's puny as fuck. Not just puny, as fuck.
All right, Andrew, man. Let's leave it at that. But
so now imagine Thato, every time you pass by the mirror, you have to look at that puny guy every time. You have to live with him for the rest of your life. Every time you pass by the mirror, you're like, you crier. Remember that day you were crying when your mom passed away? Remember that day you were crying when your nyanye passed away? Remember, that guy will never leave you. So you have to protect yourself against that guy.
No, I hear what you're saying, but look, situations happen. I do not think there's anyone on this space who's never shed a tear. I think you learn from that experience. And as a man, like I said, you dust yourself off. Now you know how to deal with it in the next situation. It's not talking about crying for women or crying for, or you never got this business deal or, something happened at your job.
Where does it stop though, Tato? Where does it stop? Because today, if you say crying for when a parent dies is okay, then tomorrow you can add maybe a dog. Then you can add maybe losing a job.
So let's say there's this, excuse me to interrupt, sorry about that. So let's say there's this thing with men killing themselves these days, taking themselves out. Where's the issue? Are those men weak? Are they like...
Because men are supposed to overcome, right? So yeah. Let's get the fundamentals right. Men are supposed to overcome. Yeah. Otherwise, there's no way we would ever build anything if we don't overcome any challenge. So we encounter the challenges, we face them, and we overcome. That's
100%.
That's a man's life. So when you find a man sitting down crying, it means that he's been overwhelmed by the issues of life. So he doesn't know how to deal with it, and the best way he can sort it out in his head is to cry, because he does not have a solution. People who cry are the ones who have no solution.
Bro, I'm not religious, at all. But I read scriptures and from all denominations just to be alert, stay away, etc. You read the Bible, it will say Jesus wept. There are situations in your life.
Let's go slowly. And I know you like interrupting me a lot, I can tell. But listen to this. So if you cry, you have no solution. Because this is, it's like being emotional. When you see somebody who has gotten angry, it's because they cannot take it anymore. So there's going to be a reaction, and that reaction is what we are talking about. We're talking about these reactions that are, how do you say it, involuntary. When a man is supposed to be guarded, he's supposed to be in control. A man is not supposed to lose control. When you lose control, then you stop being a man. That's why sometimes when you do some things, people will say, why are you behaving like a woman? Because you're losing control like a woman. Men don't lose control. Men were able to guard ourselves and overcome some of these problems and issues of life without having to lose control. It doesn't matter what the issue is. Could be your parent is dead, your child, or anything. But you're supposed to hold it together. Because if you lose it, then what happens?
No, I hear you. But I think, it's misleading in a way.
Why is it misleading?
Because Andrew, yes, that is a man's job. As a father, I'm leading my family, a husband, I'm doing all that. However, as a man, being a human being, let's say death pops up and it's your mom, something I've had to overcome as a man, losing your mother. Bro, you can't tell me you'll be at your mom's funeral and you'll sit there straight face being stoic. You'll have a moment where you're reflecting. You may walk away from your wife and kids and family, or you may be in the shower or having a swim in the pool by yourself and you have a moment, you know what I'm saying? And you come out of it and you're much stronger. That is what I'm saying. I'm not saying dudes should be weak and do all of that. I think shedding a tear after losing a close, person, your mom, your dad, I'm not saying, I don't know, whoever you hold dear, not make you a weak man. We shouldn't go around teaching people that. We shouldn't go around teaching people that because, that's dangerous if you look at psychology.
But it's dangerous what you're saying. What you're telling our children and our sons is to be weak. I'm telling them to be strong. I'm telling them that issues are going to happen. That you're going to encounter issues in life. Death is part and parcel of life, right? If we are alive, then we shall all encounter death. But you cannot telling men to be strong and to overcome is dangerous while you are telling them to go into the emotional and be weak. How is that?
That's not what I'm saying.
That's what you're saying. You're saying that it's okay.
You being weak, you being weak right now by telling a 10-year-old, 12-year-old, dude, suppress that feeling, forget it. You've lost your mom, just forget it. No,
how many times are you going to lose your mom? It's a one-time thing, obviously. Right? Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, so you're better overcoming than giving in. That's how we deal with everything. You're better overcoming than giving in.
No, but who says you should here for those 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, is giving in?
Because I don't know how long it will take when I go into that dark side. Yes, I may never come back. I may go and become an emotional bitch for the rest of my life because I allowed myself to be this emotional bitch this once. What if I go in there and now I like it and I like the crying?
But you know what?
What if I do?
You like crying now. No, look, but we can't. What I'm trying to say is the brothers that just spoke and said, look, at 10, at 12, I went through this situation, right? Are you telling me they're stronger men than me as Tato right now? And I can tell you, I was 23 when I lost my mom. And by myself, I shed a tear. I'm 41. I'm 41 right now. So this happened several years back. But at that time, and the man I am today, I'm 41. That happened when I was 23. Two different characters, lessons have been learned, etc. However, that's how I dealt with it. Now, the brother who was 10 and the brother who was 12, losing parents and coming out saying, I never cried. I dealt with it this way. I never cried. These guys are losers. Bro, be honest with yourself. That's bullshit. That is a whole lot of bullshit. You were supposed to cry.
Tato, isn't it impressive, though, if these guys were telling us the truth, that at the age of 12, they lost a close family member and they did not shed a tear. Isn't that impressive?
Well, I don't know if that's impressive. It's more like, what was the outlet? What was the outlet?
What outlet? What makes you think that we're just walking around as a ball of, unmanageable emotions. Why do we have to have an outlet? There has to be an outlet at some point. I'm going to blow my lead and kill 10 people. No, bro, it just happens.
No, because we're human beings. We're human beings, bro. Just like if you don't have sex, your semen, packs up in your sack. We're human beings. That's what happens.
Sorry, what was that, semen in the sack?
No, what I'm trying to say is just like if you're not having intercourse and at some point you feel like, you know what, I really need to have intercourse. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, we are human beings. We cannot deny the fact that we are human beings. So I'm not saying men should be bitches. I'm not saying men should be bitches.
So what's going to happen to you now is you're going to pile up all these issues that are happening to you, and then one day you explode. That's what you're saying. That's how a man operates. So you pile up all these issues, now including this new death, and now you're looking for an outlet. You're looking for a reason now to just explode now. Maybe take a pillow or go into the rain and cry.
No, I'm saying, what did those kids do? Like, if we dive into psychology, Andrew, and get deeper with it, how did this child deal with grief? Like, what did they do? They must share with us. They must just share with everyone so we know. I mean, I've got a 10-year-old and a 4-year-old. I would hate for a situation to happen where I hear something happened to me, and geez, these kids are struggling to deal with it. And looking back, it's like shit. They never dealt with the actual emotion, and whatever. That's not being a weak man, bro.
All right, hold up, Tato. Hold up.
Cool.
Let me send you my MVP by the name of Brian Ingudi Juma. Are you here in the mix?
Morning, everyone. Gratitude to Kibe and the new host, Makduk. And the former host, Gifu Daryl. What happened? He got kicked out. Casualification process.
Proper.
Anyway, it's all good. Normal is intended. We are looking at it in terms of programming. Can you imagine a situation whereby a child grows up in an environment where he has never seen adults crying, not even once? He's been to funerals, men are not crying, they're just dealing. If somebody has died, it's unfortunate. We organize the burial, we put him down, we say a few kind words, say a prayer, life goes back to normal. Things happen, there's no shedding of tears ever. That kid will grow up knowing that crying is meaningless. Of course, there will be that crying due to immaturity when he's small, but as he keeps on coming off edge, coming into continuation with the situations around him, it will strike him that, hey, this crying, because I'm looking at the people around me who are successful, who are doing things. I've never seen a tear, I've never seen wet eyes in them. It will come into them. It will actually get inculcated that it's a waste of time. It's actually a thought process derailment. So when we see these behaviors here, in fact, there was a very depressing statement I heard when somebody said that he cries to sleep with. You are crying for pussy. You really fucked up my morning, man. How do you cry for pussy? For everything? You are a wet crack. So that actually points to the programming that we are actually facing today. It is actually a symptom of a far bigger problem. I think people need therapy, because when somebody says that you are crying for pussy, man, you should see a psychologist or some Dr. Phil or whatever. But all in all, this is programming. And we are very lucky that I remember there was a time when the host and George posted a picture on Twitter, and I put a comment there, the matrix breakers. When you now realize in a world where men are crying all over, then you come to the stark realization that this crying is considered this a blessing, because you are in a matrix whereby you think that the releasing of fluid from your eyes is a very good thing. There is getting in touch with your feelings. I'm looking for situations whereby in my life where feelings played a role. Absolutely nothing. Feelings have actually sunk me into a very deep pit, and I have to take a lot of energy to sink me out. The effort needed to dig yourself out of feelings is monumental. Recently, I saw a video clip of somebody who climbed on top of of live wires and got roasted and died a very horrible death. Why? It can't be known that he had lost his mother. Now, that is now a correlation. You have cried and cried and cried because you are deep in that situation. You've gone ahead and harmed yourself. So, gentlemen, I know you have been in a programming that is completely corrupt. I know you are full of so many corrupt files. Get rid of those files. Look at the logic. All the liters of tears you have cried, please try to equate any development that has come out of them. Any amount of tears, had they played a role in pushing this country out of being a third world country? I like pushing that narrative forward every time because we are men. We are the solution providers. If you can make an equation, some equation that says this quantity, this volume of tears is equal to this amount of development, I'll start crying today. Now, I'll start crying. But as long as the volume of your tears is equal to 0 degree of development, brothers, understand the crisis you are in. If your tears are doing anything to solve your problems, please, heavens, give me that solution. I'll start crying today, right now. But as long as there's nothing that is contributing towards you moving forward, there's nothing contributing towards positive development because this continent is full of shit. If tears are going to reduce the shit in your life, I'll cry. Me, I'm open. If you can prove to me, listen, we had a problem, this water, we had issue, we had a power issue, we had this problem, like we had load shedding, so we shed this quantity of tears, now no longer have load shedding. Man, Mark Duke, I'll send you my volume of tears and we'll cry and kumbaya all day, every day. But you see, the tears are not solving anything, especially for us in Africa who are full of problems and all kind of shit. These tears are doing nothing, I guarantee you. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Brian and Goody. Juma, he was responding to Tato, who was talking about tears. Tears, if the tears had, you could put them like in a paper bag and sell them. Maybe. Or maybe you're Peter Pan. You need people's prayers and tears. Have you guys ever thought about Peter Pan, though? All right. Let me hear from John W. John Wainaina, how are you?
Fine, thank you, bro. Thanks for the opportunity. Now, 2 quick things. When I was listening to everyone in the space speak, I was my other self was asking me a question, and I will not ask you that question because I have already asked myself: should men laugh? So, because it is important for us to understand that we are creating a scenario where a man can uncontrollably laugh between the kids, before the kids and the wife, but the same man cannot shed a tear before anyone. Now, if it is okay, if it is important as we are putting it that men should not cry, why then should men express the happiness feeling? Just the same way they should express the sad feeling. So